My English teacher, who was also my acting teacher, said, there's a school that's auditioning from New York. They're in Toronto. You should go check it out. I said, I'm never going to get in. That's crazy. She's like, oh, no, you're not going to get in, but it's good practice because you're going to have to audition. You're going to have to audition when you get into drama school at Windsor, and you haven't had to audition before. You should get used to it. I put it all together. I go and audition. I forget about it. By February, I get a letter in the mail, and it says, congratulations, you've been accepted to the American Musical and Dramatic Academy on Broadway in New York. And I'm like, this is a joke, right? I went to school and I showed my English teacher, and she was like, I knew you'd get in. You told me.
Yeah.
And she was like, that was just to get you, because I know who you are. I know that if I tell you can't do it, you're going to go and do it.
Welcome to Limitless Minds, the podcast where curiosity meets greatness. If you're ready to discover what it takes to be truly limitless and push beyond your own limits, you're in the right place.
Welcome back to the Limitless Minds podcast.
Take two.
This is the
Take three.
third installment of Travis and I just being complete morons on the air, which is what everybody's tuning in for these days, Double T. They just tune in for us to be just complete idiots, which I love. It's a lot of fun that way.
Yeah, they're looking for a thing. They want the Nooch nuggets, Josh. Let's be honest.
They want the Nooch nuggets.
Everyone wants the Nooch nuggets. And someone told me, they're like, hey, I went through the drive-thru the other day and I tried to get the Nooch nuggets value meal, and McDonald's didn't know what they were talking about. I don't know what happened. So we haven't worked on the branding well enough yet.
No, we haven't gotten it out there. We need T-shirts. We need possibly Skyriders, especially down here in Siesta Key area. Nooch nuggets would be great for the 20 people on Siesta Key during the summer. So that would work out well. There's literally, it's so funny, Travis. I don't know if you remember living in Florida in the summer, but and you obviously lived in Bradenton and Sarasota for a minute. There's nobody in town. It's amazing. I kind of love it. I kind of love, we went out to the movie.
Yeah,
we went out to the movies last night. Superman, highly recommended it if you have not seen it yet. They did a good job. They did a really good job. I'll just say this by halfway. This is the only spoiler I'll give you. Lex Luthor was up easily by 30 points at halftime. Easily.
And he
should have won that thing.
I'm going to guess that it gets away from him. That's going to be my guess.
I'm not going to do spoilers. I'm just going to say Lex Luthor is up by 30 at halftime. That's all I'm going to say. Who knows who wins?
Fair enough.
You have to go see the movie to find out who wins. But that being said, Nooch Nuggets, let's just dive right into it, because this is the third installment of Success Leaves Clues, the takeover, the Travis Thomas and Joshua.
Yeah, we've got Harry and DJ. They are locked up in the back room.
They're gone. Right? They're gone. One's in Michigan. Right. One was in Hilton Head. Yeah. They're not anywhere around. Yeah. All right. So, so it's the third podcast we're recording, and Nooch Nugget. So my Nooch Nugget comes from the pickleball court.
Oh, yes. Let's go.
So I had the opportunity I was working with an athlete this week, and working with their physical team. I'm doing the mental stuff. There's a rehab person. There's PT. There's all sorts of stuff. And they have a pickleball court at their house where they also have their gym where they're working out. And so the athlete and I ended up playing the PT and the strength coach in pickleball.
Yeah.
And we had won the first game pretty handily. Second game, we lost in a very tight one, 12-10. We lost the second one.
Yeah.
And then the third game, we were down 10-0.
Come on.
We were down 10-0. And we looked at each other and we were just like, just 1 point at a time. 1 point. One point at a time. We're just going to take this point. Let's, just play defense, get the ball back, make them beat us.
One side at a time, baby.
Yeah. 1 point at a time. 1 point at a time. We got it up to 10-4. The athlete turned to me. He's like, if we get this to 6, they're going to get tight.
Yeah.
If we get this to 6, they're going to get tight. We got it to 6. They started getting tight. Some controversy on some close calls. All of a sudden, it's 10-10. Oh. And then we win 12-10, jumping around, fist bumping.
Paddle
High
drop.
five.
That's a paddle drop.
I did drop my paddle. I ran. I got on my knees, very Wimbledon style, looking up at the sky. He's running around the court.
You went and found your family in the family box. You all embraced.
The physical conditioning coach accused me of cheating several times. Said, I don't care if I lose to somebody that's actually better than me. So that was fun. It was fun.
So how did you get neutral at 0-10, Josh?
I went to the process. Move my seat, see the ball. Move my feet, see the ball. Yeah. Move my feet, see the ball.
Yeah.
And it was also, there was the strategy of like, we're not trying to do too much. Let's put it back in play, and we'll just keep going from there.
I love it. Yeah. Who would have known? My Nooch nugget isn't a pickleball related, but earlier this week, my son, who's almost 18, a senior in high school, he's like, Dad, I think I might want to play pickleball in college. I was like, all right, man. All right. Well, we can figure that out. So we went.
Do they have pickleball in college now? Do they
colleges? Have like there's college teams now. I don't think it's not NCAA, but yeah, and some schools
like club sport type of thing where like they're playing other universities and things.
Yeah. And nice. So he thinks he might want to do that. And so we're up in northern Michigan. One of my good friends, Josh, spends a lot of time up here. This is where he's from originally. A former pro basketball player. His name's Trevor Huffman. And we're going to have him.
Trevor Hoffman, the closer for the San Diego Padres?
Not the closer.
Okay, not the closer.
Huffman instead of Hoffman. He's Huff.
Got it. I was confused there.
First athlete from Petoskey, Michigan to get a Division I scholarship back in the day. And then he had like a 12 or 13 year pro career. But yeah, like he's like, whatever, his 40s now. His younger brother just retired from the 3x3 basketball. You know that, the 3-on-3 basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So he was a pro in that for about 10 years. So it's my son and I versus two former professional basketball players in a little pickleball battle. So we played a best of 5 and they took us 3 games to 2. But lots of opportunities to get neutral during that. But Josh, my neutral nugget for today.
I was just going to ask you about that. Yeah. What is that? Was there one from the pickleball match or is it?
It's not.
It's
work related. Okay. I'm speaking.
You just wanted to say that you were playing pickleball.
I did. I wanted to like connect. Like make that connection.
I got it. That's good connection. We're all about the transitions and the connections.
We are. That's the other thing people are tuning in for. They want to see our transitions. They know that Josh and I just don't cook in the kitchen. We also cook in connection.
There you
go. So yes,
my
neutral nugget. We're going back to Monday, Josh. We're going back to Monday. I was delivering one of our labs, one of our virtual labs, Limitless Minds labs, with one of our clients.
Living and breathing session.
By the
way,
breathing session.
That's what labs means.
So, great client. Been doing a lot of prep for it, but whatever happened, we got too many cooks in the kitchen, and I was on the couch 20 minutes out from the session starting, and I got asked to make a lot of last minute changes. And so, so like mentally I'm all right, okay, I'll make these adjustments on the fly. I can do that. But they were asking for like, this is so boring, but like we want, instead of 2 slides presentations, we want them all in one. So I'm like, they're like, can you do that? I was like, maybe. So I am trying to merge 2 slideshows into one, and I was having a hard time, and I'm running out of time. I'm literally, I'm up against the clock of when this thing starts, and I'm on the couch, and I'm a little bit flustered. I'm like, oh, take a breath, relax, take a breath, relax, but then getting flustered. My 17-year-old son walks in. He has no idea. All he knows is Dad has a virtual coming up. He doesn't know any of the context of all of my frustration in that moment. And he sees me just kind of like, I'm probably like, I'm probably literally verbalizing my frustration at the time. And he's like a super mellow dude. Josh, he walks into the room and he goes, hey man, looks like someone needs to get neutral.
I love it.
And I'm like, his name's Shepard. I'm like, Shep, I'm trying. I'm like, I got you, buddy. I'm trying though. I'm trying. And it reminded me of, one of my favorite Trevor stories, which was like, Georgia Rose Bowl against Oklahoma, right? He's in the locker room and Kirby Smart looks to him and says, hey, Trev, I'm having a real hard time getting neutral right now. And so I felt that level of, oh, I know I need to get neutral, but man, am I just like fighting that sense of urgency and the pressure of the moment and frustration too. Like, why am I doing this?
Feelings take over, right? They just boom. They're like right there. They're so prominent.
And
I had driving the bus,
and the clock was keeping me honest, and also and like building that sense of like, man, you're up against the deadline. Are you gonna? And like I'm like, I just need to resolve. Like, if I don't, I can only get done what I can get done, and when that thing starts, I need to trust myself to make whatever I need to do. But it was, what I loved about it was, even though it wasn't fun at the time, I'm like, hey, this is why we do the work that we do, because I have to do it myself right now. And then I loved just my son walking into the room and just being like, dude, looks like you need to get neutral. Like, hey, put your money where your mouth is, brother. Let's go.
Yeah, I do need to get neutral. And it looks like you're going to need to find another way to get around because you're grounded and you can't use the car.
Yes. Speaking of shifting.
Oh, see what we did there? There it is. There it is. So, but yeah, and it's funny too. I think the neutrality piece, you and I have been in this work now for years. And I think ultimately it's there for us at our fingertips, right? And one of the things we always say, Travis, is when you do the work works on you.
Yeah.
And so in those moments that we're not neutral, it becomes very clear, okay, I got to get back to I'm not there, right? We're very aware of it. But I think that's one of the things that's a challenge for a lot of people is just that recognition and bringing things above the waterline to go, hey, listen, I'm not there right now. Mm-hmm. That's the first step. And I think your son accessing that for you externally is a really good point there. So he
might have been enjoying the fact that dad looked a little frazzled and he got to call out dad for needing to get
100%.
Might have been a little bit of enjoyment of that. Well, speaking of someone who sets a high bar and has to put this into practice on a day-to-day basis. Josh. Transition.
It was solid. It was good.
It was okay. That was mediocre. That was not a great transition. I was looking for something clever. I was looking for some wordplay.
Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, and if the transition's there, it shows up, and you go with it. And sometimes you just got to.
Well, Josh, do you ever have a day and you're feeling blue? You know, like you kind of a day you wake up and you're feeling kind of blue.
Sure, of course. Speaking
of blue, our guest today is a former Blue Man from Blue Man Group. All right, I forced that one a little bit, but in all honesty, Josh, here we go. I'm really excited to have a good friend jumping on the Limitless Minds podcast today, especially around Success Leaves Clues. This is a guy that, man, oh man, do I think that he's going to have some nuggets for us. When it comes to performance, when it comes to sort of surviving, as we know, surviving in high pressure environments, surviving in high pressure industries. So this is my good friend, Frank Licari. Frank, he's an actor, musician, director, producer, TV host, entrepreneur. The dude's done some things. 34 years of professional performing experience, thousands, not hundreds, thousands of performances under his belt. He's had 3 Emmy nominations. He's won 2 Telly Awards for writing and producing. Nice. As I said, he was in Blue Man Group. He was in the New York cast. He was in the Chicago cast. He was in the Boston cast. He has worked with Tom Cruise, Chris Rock, Donnie Wahlberg, Keanu Reeves.
Donnie Wahlberg?
No, I know. Donnie Wahlberg's the one that gets your attention, right? That's the one that gets your attention. Jeremy Renner. He worked with Jeremy Renner. So, and he has worked on documentaries with Vanilla Ice, Jose Feliciano. Yes. Feliz Navidad, Jose Feliciano himself. Wow. But most importantly, Josh, you know who he's worked with for over 20 years?
Travis L. Thomas.
Me. Yeah, he's worked with me and Jesse Furman because we are the 3-headed monster that is the Jove Improvisation down in Florida. And so I have paired, I've just, his level of expertise, I've just been a big fan of for all these years. We're good friends. And I can't wait to get him on the podcast, to bring him on and to dig into his brilliance. So without further ado, let's please welcome Frank Licari to the Limitless Minds podcast. And Frank, welcome to the Limitless Minds podcast.
Thank you, guys. This is great to finally be on here. Been hearing about it. I've been talking about it with you, so this is an honor. Appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, thanks for making time. Well, I just, not that your ego needs to be bigger, but I just read your resume and just really, inflated all of your accomplishments and all the work that you've done. But what are you working on? What are you working on right now, Frank? What are you most excited about?
Oh my goodness! If I told you, I'm going to tell you everything I'm working on. It's going to sound like I'm listing off So I'm in post production for 2 films that I've produced and directed. Those are going to come out, hopefully, be finished this fall. Which is crazy to think about. And my last month has consisted of 2 improv shows, which were live shows, and then flying to Canada to do a new Netflix show and another show that I just finished. I was in Canada all week, last week shooting. And so it's between the acting and the producing, directing, and writing has kind of kept me busy now for the better part of 3 years, which has been crazy. So I'm really excited about the films because I've got a big explosive documentary that I think is going to change a lot of people's minds very, very soon. So I'm very excited about that one.
All right. Well, we won't.
That is called a very great tease, by the way. That's like, wait, what? What's it about?
All right, Frank. So we know what you're working on right now, which is huge. Yeah. Now let's just work backwards a little bit. All right. 18 years old. You grew up right outside of Toronto. You make the giant leap. You've got a big decision to make, and you end up making that leap. To like leave home and come to New York City and pursue the dream. Like walk us through what that process was like.
Yeah, it was crazy, right? I'd already gotten into Windsor University, which borders Detroit, very close to where you grew up.
Michigan.
And so I'm in Windsor. I'm actually on a basketball and volleyball minor scholarship at that point, and I'm going to major in English and minor in drama, and I'm set. And Windsor's about a couple hours away from where I grew up. So it's safe. I'm here. Mm-hmm. And my English teacher, who was also my acting teacher, said, there's a school that's auditioning from New York. They're in Toronto. You should go check it out. I said, I'm never going to get in. That's crazy. She's like, oh no, you're not going to get in, but it's good practice because you're going to have to audition. I'll tell you the funny follow-up to that little comment she made. You're going to have to audition when you get into drama school at Windsor, and you haven't had to audition before. You should get used to it. So real, fast story. Yeah. I put it all together. I go and audition. I forget about it. And this was right before Christmas of my final year in high school. And at that point I'd gotten scouted. That's how all that happened. I knew where I was going. Anyway, by February, I get a letter in the mail, which was back then. That was how it went.
No emails back then.
Nothing back then, yeah. And it says, congratulations, you've been accepted to the American Musical and Dramatic Academy on Broadway in New York. And I'm like, this is a joke, right? So I get the letter. I tell my parents, and I go, wow, I just got into a school in New York. And they said, my parents are Italian immigrants. They didn't quite understand everything. My mom still doesn't know what I do for a living, I think 35 years later. But anyway, they go, oh, that's great. Well, you're not going to New York. I said, no, I'm sure, of course. Of course not. We have no money. We have we don't have anything. And I went to school and I showed my English teacher, and she was like, I knew you'd get in. Huh. And I was like, you told me.
Yeah.
And she was like, that was just to get you, because I know who you are. I know that if I tell you can't do it, you're going to go and do it. And I went, whoa. And that was the first lesson for my life. Right? Mentally. Yeah. And I credit her and my basketball coach with pretty much who I am as a person today because of that. Because I've always been sort of tiny, 5'9.5" Italian. Who's playing basketball? How many times you heard that, right? Just all of the things against me with that, and that kind of shaped who I became. And so anyway, I get in. I approach the school. I don't have money. They give me a partial scholarship. My dad out of nowhere pulls out cash out of a tin, like old school, out of this little tin that he had saved up. And it was enough tuition at that time for pretty much my first year. And it was cash from a settlement he had gotten in a car accident or something. My mom didn't know about it. Sitting in a tin, he pulls out this cash. And he's like, if you want to go. And I said, yeah, I want to go.
Wow. Yeah.
And that was it. And so I came to New York on my 19th birthday. So the day I turned 19, I land in New York, and then the rest is history. I never went back home. I mean, I get back home, but I don't live there full time.
Yeah.
So what was that experience like? I mean, I know when you talk about New York and Manhattan itself, it's a different world. Like, let alone a different country, it's a different world. There's things happening there that you can't even like. Basically, one of the things I love about New York, having lived there for 10 plus years on the Upper West Side, was that anything is possible there. There was absolutely that mindset of anything is possible, both good and bad. So tell me a little bit about that experience and what that did for you, moving from suburbs to to the heart of the city. You said you were on the Upper West Side, right? So
I started right on. Yeah. So the school was on 72nd and Broadway. I'll tell you,
right next to Grace Papaya, probably then.
Was there all the time. Yeah. I was in the old Ansonia building, and this is no joke. Before I get to this, I'm going to tell you a funny story, but let me tell you a story about angels first. Okay. Angels. I land at LaGuardia by myself. I have no idea you'll know what this is, but I had no idea what gypsy cabs were. Like, I had no idea. So this guy approaches me and he goes, in his accent, I won't do it for you, but I can do it. You want the cab? I said, yes, please. So I get in this black car, so I sit
$400 later.
Right. I'm sitting in the back seat, but here's what happens. And I didn't think about it in the moment, but after a couple of years back, I went, what the heck was that? So I'm driving in the back seat. And of course I'm coming through, I'm in LaGuardia, I'm coming into the city. And this guy starts on me. He goes, you're going to need to be very, very careful in the city. It's your first time here. And I was like, do I look that, and I mean, I don't exactly look like, and I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah. He goes, it's a great city. He goes, but there's just what you were just saying. He's like, there's good and bad. And he goes, if you stay away from the bad, you're going to be very successful. Huh. I was like, okay. He's like, he said something else. And it was a weird conversation that I've never had in a cab.
Yeah.
Let alone with a, foreign cab driver. And it was insightful. It was pointed. It was specific.
Yeah.
And to this day, I'm still blown away by it, that I was like, that wasn't a normal ride. I don't know what that was, but it was something crazy special. And then I get out of the cab, and the first, can I use an expletive on this podcast?
I don't know. Maybe.
I won't, but I'll use it in this way. So this is my first experience in New York. The cab parks right beside the school. I get out with my suitcase. Coming down the sidewalk at the time was a bike messenger coming through the bike, and walking past me as a New Yorker. And the first moment I heard in New York after all that spiritual talk was this guy walking and going, the bike coming behind him, and he goes, get off the sidewalk. And the guy turns around and goes, F you. And that was it. That was my first moment. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm home. This is
Welcome to New York, pal.
Welcome to America.
Great. So it's such an, sort of a spiritual cab ride that I wasn't expecting into that. And it made me, it set the precedent for everything that was about to come for the next, so many years. So that was my opening thing. It was eye-opening in so many different ways. And of course, my first year was just unbelievable. What I soaked in, both living in that, as you know, living in that's your school, that's your neighborhood. You're not on a campus. My campus was New York City.
Right.
And so that
the cafeteria was Pak Punjab on the corner.
Exactly right. You're exactly right. So you're eating at diners, and you're going, and I'm across the street from the China Club. And, one of my first nights going out was, I'm not joking. I'm walking down the stairs, and I can't see the club because there's this guy standing in the doorway, and it's Hulk Hogan. And it's just like all this is going on. Like, where am I?
Yeah.
You know? So that's sort of what the first sort of moments of being in New York were, and it only got more amazing as it went,
So let me ask you this, because Travis read your ridiculous bio, and by the word, what I mean by ridiculous is just so accomplished and had so much success in the world of acting and movies and things like that, which is like the dream, right? How many waiters are in New York right now, or waitresses are in New York in the service industry doing, just trying to get what you got.
Right.
how did it kind of transpire? I've always really been just curious about like how those moments that got you there, right? So you're in school, you're 19, getting to 20. How long does it take you in school? How many years are you in school for?
I did a what they would have called a 3-year program, a 3-year studio program. Okay. I did it straight through. I didn't take a break, so I didn't go home for summers. I did it straight through in 2 years.
Got it. And so you did it in 2 years, and then you get out, I'm sure, right after that, and they're like, "Hey, good luck, buddy. Hopefully you know how to carry a tray." Exactly
right. So what happened to me was kind of lucky. I say lucky. I like to think I put in the work, but the last, as it happens in most drama schools, the last semester you're preparing for what they call a showcase, a demo.
Right.
So, and it's an agent showcase, and they bring agents and managers to see you, and then you hope. So our class that started with 80, which was not a lot, dwindled down to 40. They got cut. 40 people got cut after the second semester.
Wow.
And now you're with 40 people. And so your graduating class is 40 people, and from all over the world. I mean, Portugal, Spain, everywhere. Right. So I was, as you heard, I was an athletic, which is really kind of rare in the acting, as much as you think. I'm in a musical theater school. So you can imagine there's not a lot of basketball players and volleyball players and things like that. So it was difficult to keep, but I was athletic. And so I got into stage combat very quickly. I got into sword fighting and hand to hand. So part of my showcase now, I'm doing accents at that point. I speak Italian, so I'm good with language. I'm musical. I'm a musician, so I've got that going. So all of these things are happening. So I realized, and my teachers realized quickly, that I had a bit of a versatility about me. So the difference between my demo showcase and some of the others was maybe they were in 2 scenes. I decide, you'll laugh, I decide to go approach my teacher and say, "Hey, listen, I'd like to recreate the entire sword fight from The Princess Bride."
Perfect.
Can we do that? And then my combat teacher was like, "Well, yeah, sure." So part of my showcase is I'm in like 7 scenes. I'm doing 3 accents. I'm doing characters of differing ages. And throughout, I have broken up the sword fight from Princess Bride, which, if you remember, it's all, I think there was 325 different moves, left hand, right hand, sword fighting. I break it up throughout the show. So we start with the sword fight. We come out of the thing. We leave. That's part 1. And then periodically throughout the showcase, the sword fight continues. So that became the spine of the whole thing. So you can imagine coming to see the show, you're seeing me multiple ways. So I got lucky enough that they let me do that. And I got an agent right out of the showcase, which was... That's sort of rare. And right off the bat, within a month, I was in a 3-month run of a off-Broadway show. And that set me apart, except at the end of that 3-month run, we're getting to Christmas. And now I'm going, okay, I've made enough money kind of to be here through that time. But now what?
Yeah. Rockets were hiring.
Right. I didn't quite have the legs yet, but so now I'm going, holy cow, what am I going to do if I don't have a job after this? It's November. If I don't have a job by Christmas, I got to go home because I'm on a student visa, and I only got 3 months after the student visa, and now it's coming upon the 3rd month. So basically it was, all right, Frank's going back to Canada at Christmas. I do this show. I get friendly with one of the actors, and their fiance is a well-to-do entertainment attorney. I didn't mention this, but I was a writer. The first thing that happened to me in high school was I won a playwriting competition, and I won best play in this national competition. So I'm a playwright. That's like my thing. And I've been typing a long time back then when you had typing class.
Yeah.
So I can type 90 words a minute at the time. So this guy approached me and he goes, "Hey man, wow, you're really talented. Really enjoy the show." It was a variety show that he saw me in. What's next? I said, "I actually don't have anything next." I said, "To be honest with you, in a month I'm going to have to move back if I don't get a job." He's like, "Well, what are you looking for?" I said, "I don't know. I just need a day job at this point." And he goes, "Well, I own an entertainment law firm." I said, "Oh." He goes, "By any chance, can you type?" And I go, "By many chances, yeah, I can type 90 words a minute, actually." And he goes, "Really?" I go, "Well, yeah, I'm a writer, so I have my little Smith Corona that I work on. I have a little Smith Corona electronic." He goes, "Well, if you'd want, I can get you a job at my firm. You can start in the mailroom, and then," he goes, when we have a secretary or somebody that goes out, you can fill in." Great. So that day I get the job and just snowballs, right? Travis knows me well enough that when I get into something, I put, and that's part of probably what you guys want to talk about. I put everything I got, like whether we're having a podcast, a handshake, a dinner, I'm all in, right? So within 2 years, I'm managing the firm, and I've set up a scenario where I say to them, I will do this, but every time I have an audition, you got to let me go. If we do that, I'm in. And being the entertainment lawyer was also a producer, he was like, absolutely no problem. So I got a scenario in New York, which is so rare.
Yeah.
I waited tables, I think, for a month, just enough time to buy a stereo, and then I was out of waiting tables. I'm now managing an entertainment law firm for $25 an hour, which is
huge back then. Huge.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm living on my own now. I've got my own place. I moved from West End. I got a 2-bedroom place up in Hell's Kitchen. I'm living on my own in New York. I'm making $25. He's giving me health, and I get off for any audition I want anytime.
Perfect.
I get my own phone and my own desk, which means now I have my own line, which means back then when an agent calls, they're getting me direct at my desk. I have the use of all of the office equipment, which means I can photocopy scripts and my resumes and send out mail, sending out my pictures stapled. So I set up a scenario for myself that was unheard of. On top of that, what do I learn? Travis knows this. I learn entertainment law and contract law. Well, 10 years later, when I open up my own school, now I know how to do it all. So that's how it all happened. And it set a foundation for me in New York that helped a lot.
You know what's crazy? It's so funny, Travis, you just jump in here or whatever. But we always say YNK. You never know. Right. And the reason you say you never know is because, like, if you walked into that job and you were just like, whatever. I'm just going to punch the clock. I'm in the mailroom. I'm really an actor. That's really what I am. And you didn't have that openness, that mindset of like, here's an opportunity to grow in some way, shape, or form. And you didn't bring your passion. You didn't decide who you're going to be. You just kind of showed up and went through the motions. Like, you would have never gotten promoted. You don't get promoted. You don't get the desk. You don't get the desk. You don't get the copy machine, this, that, the other thing. You don't get the phone. And then in addition to that, you never know. Here you are, you're working in an entertainment law firm. So all these contracts are going by, and now you're reading them and understanding them, giving you another leg up.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. And I think that might be, I don't know, Travis, jump in here, but like, that feels like a message in its own right. Talk about success leaves clues. Success leaves clues. How you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah.
Well, from sports, we know how you practice is how you play, right? You know that from Coach and Trav. And so for me, I teach that to my son too. It's like everything. And so it comes to a couple things that changed my life. And Travis knows this. I think I've told you many times. It's like I read a couple books early on that changed everything. And one of them was Don Miguel Ruiz, Four Agreements.
Wonderful.
And then Power of Now. Those two books changed everything for me.
You also read Live Yes and as well, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Very good.
3 words for getting unstuck. Read
that too. Those are on my bookshelf. Yeah. Those, I was obliged. I don't know why I felt like the need to read those. I really felt
you may even have got them sent to you unasked for.
And maybe, and with a sig, I feel like I may have gotten even an autograph on those. Very good books. But I add to one of the things I think Don Miguel forgot. And we know the 4 agreements. I don't have to. Hopefully,
just tell them. Just say.
Be impeccable with your word. Don't take things personally. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best. Right. Mm-hmm. So you do those, and just always do your best alone is enough. I think. Right. Be impeccable with your word is probably another one that I'm a very, very, like, if I say something, it's happening. Like, I don't blow smoke, and I expect the same from people I work with. Mm-hmm. If you say you're going to be here today at this time, it better happen. I lose respect quickly for myself and for other people when that doesn't happen. But there was one other thing that I think should have been in there, which I took right off the bat, and I think is don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
And I think that should be the 5th. Because to me, in my business, that is probably, because you said it, I'm an actor or whatever. I learned quickly that's
you're a coffee guy today.
Coffee. Yeah. Okay. Do what you're doing now. Great. And then tell me what your aspiration is or what your passion. I get it.
Yeah.
But like, I started off as a writer, and then I became an actor, and then I became a producer. And then I realized, oh, I'm not here to be famous. I knew that. I'm not here to just be this guy and identify as I'm the actor. I'm a guy that enjoys putting things together. So we use storyteller as it's a broad word, and I kind of don't like it as much anymore. But I like that all of it became who I was in the entertainment business. I don't just say I'm an actor. I'm a TV host. I'm a writer. I'm a producer. I'm a director. I'm a writer. I don't say that to say, look at me. I'd say it because that's a necessity. And it kind of created this 360 guy that's in front of you today, that if I had been that guy that went into that mailroom and said, oh, I'm not a mailroom guy. I'm an actor. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I don't put
What are we doing? What are we doing? Right.
Today, I'm a mailroom guy. Tomorrow, I was this. So I didn't take everything I did. I didn't look at myself as like so big or so serious. And it's funny because years later, when I started doing corporate training, I developed a program and I called it Know Yourself, KNOW yourself, Know Your Ego, NO your ego.
Mm-hmm.
And that is kind of where I've gone my entire life now, is like every situation is an opportunity, especially the negative ones. I have never taken a negative situation and not parlayed it into something else.
Yeah.
So, you partner with 4 people, they're a disaster, but you take advantage, and I say that in a positive way, of little things that you can to then springboard to another opportunity with that same person that you thought was a negative disaster. And it happens that way. And I've felt that my entire career. And in a business like mine, where you're failing most of the time, it helps to keep those things. So power of now, being present. And that's what being in the mailroom is, right? It's today. It's not tomorrow, and it's not the past. And power of now taught me to get rid of the past, because I had a lot of, I'm angry about this. I should be here. I should have gotten this. You get rid of the past,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's the Tiger Woods mentality of golf, right? Like, I think you probably heard this story. They asked him, like, how did you do that? How did you get over the third hole? He goes, yeah, I don't even remember the third hole. I forget the shot I just made. And that was like, bing, okay.
Yeah.
It's what's here. It's what's now. It's what's next. And so those things, man, it was those sort of, all of the combination of those things that helped me get through this type of business. Because even today, I don't know what's up. I don't know what's next. I don't. As successful as you may feel, and I don't take it serious. I don't.
Well, in the spirit of that, Frank, if we were to take, it's funny, it's like I read a portion of your achievements, working in the industry, and yet
working with Donnie Wahlberg,
still up there, right?
Yeah.
You look at all the achievements. We could create probably 10 pages of projects that didn't happen, of opportunities that didn't happen. And like, what are the things that keep you up at night, right? Like the opportunity, like Carlito's Way, that was supposed to be me and Pacino, right?
Yeah.
So in an industry, right? In sports are very similar, right? It's for all the success you have, there is so much more of the things that didn't work out, which again, if we're looking at success leaves clues. So how did you, and you're getting into it, I know, but how did you learn to navigate the setbacks so that you could stay in the game to be open for the next opportunity that you didn't know when and how it was coming?
Humor. I've learned to approach negativity and failure, quote unquote, with humor. And I think that's how I've gotten through. I didn't realize when I was younger. That's how I got through most of the turmoil. I think as a younger man, a younger boy, is finding the humor and the fun in failure. And because I think there is fun there. And so then I started to turn auditions for me now. And I think a famous actor recently said something similar like this, and it might be Cranston. Anyway, I approach auditions now as the work.
Yeah.
Right? So if practice is the work, which I believe it should be, then the game is the fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if practice is work and the process to get to where and now I enjoy set life so much more. It's the easiest thing I do because the hard work and the fear, and I got rid of fear too, and I'll tell you about that. But all of that is gone by the time you get to the work. So the work isn't work anymore because the hard work has been done. You've gotten the role.
Yeah.
You are quote unquote good enough. You are whatever, thin enough, good looking enough, funny, whatever you want to put in there. You're there, and now you're just having fun, and you can be free to create. And so I think that's the same, and it's an improv thing for me. Like, know the rules, right? And then forget them. The forgetting them is the fun part, because you can work within the parameters of the game, and now you're creating whatever the heck you want. If you're stuck in the process, you're never going to do it. So I think for me, it was understanding that negativity, failure, what's the fun here? What did I learn? And you learn way more in an audition when you don't get it. Because when you do get it, you go, oh, I must be great. I must be on the right path. Yeah. When you don't get it, you go, what was I missing? What didn't I do?
Yeah.
Maybe I should have put more time into this. And so it's really taking the fear, and that was the big thing. As I was pretty angry as a teenager, in the sense that with my father, it was immigrant parents, certain way, physically, whatever, wasn't there always supportive up until a point. And so I had a lot of pent up anger, and I realized quickly on that anger and fear are wasted emotions, right? Anger is nothing. It's just the easiest thing to do is to, and the issue is when anger becomes aggression, right? So aggression becomes the byproduct of anger. But if you take anger out, then there's no aggression. So you become less aggressive. Once you realize that anger is actually just insecurity or guilt or defensive about something else, then anger is a wasted emotion. It also sucks as an actor to play angry because it's nothing. It's based in nothing. It's just a tantrum. So that's a child's emotion, right? And fear is also a wasted emotion, because fear is only dealing with things that don't exist, right? They're things you're projecting could happen that rarely happen in the way, because our mind is so powerful that we always imagine things worse than they are and better than they're going to be. And I can tell you a story about that too. But when you get rid of anger and fear, what is disappointment? What are you disappointed about?
Yeah.
What's negative? There is no negativity. It's just an experience. So an audition for me is just another job. I finish it. I send it off to my agent or my casting director, and then I'm done. And so I'm not getting something, right? Like an failed audition is not getting it. I got to play a role that somebody thought I'd be good for a finite amount of time, which is kind of what I do in film. I'm on a scene for a few minutes and then we move on to the next one.
Yeah.
So that's my process. Okay. The audition's over. I forget about it. So much so that sometimes I get the call back from the agents like, oh, hey, you got the part. I'm like, what? What part? Oh, the thing I auditioned for 4 weeks ago. I don't even remember what it was. Yeah. I have to go back. So, I think that's it. It's expectations are gone. Anger's gone. Fear's gone. And if those things are gone, then you're pretty much in constant experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you try to keep it positive, right?
Yeah. So, which from our standpoint, right? Limitless Minds, right? We teach and preach neutral thinking, right? Which is, again, it's looking objectively at the situation based on the facts, right? Your emotions are valid, but responding from our emotions aren't always the most helpful thing. So how can I objectively look at the situation based on the facts and then choose my most effective response, right? And so you're constantly doing that in an industry, all of life, but in an industry that feels even more uncertain, maybe than other industries. And so once you become good at that, then once you're able to navigate the fear of uncertainty or the fear of where's that next job coming from, where's that next opportunity coming from? And you just kind of trust yourself and you trust the process. Now, Frank, I want the way I remember it might be different, but I remember when, right, you were correct me if I'm wrong. I know you were just in Boston recently. You guys were having like a Blue Man Group sort of reunion or celebration. Yeah. You were one of the first actors that was hired to replace the founders once they started expanding the cast. Is that correct for Blue Man Group?
Yeah. In Boston, I was the replacement cast in Boston. Yeah. When we started, I started in New York, then went to Boston and Chicago. Yeah.
And so tell us about that audition process, because, it was like,
that's a different beast altogether, but it makes sense, right? The physicality of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So tell us about, because it was, you kind of weren't prepared for a skill set that you needed to have, but then your willingness to then commit to it. So what was that again exactly?
Yeah, so I'll just to give you the lead up to what happened there. So I have a string. I'm coming down in a place in my career where I'm like, ego at that time. I've been here all of 5 years, and I'm like, I haven't become, I'm still have a day job, and which is nothing. 5 years is like, come on. That included my schooling. So really 3.
Yeah.
So anyway, I have a string. There's a month where I am up for the replacement cast of Rent in 1997. And if you remember Rent.
Huge Broadway
Rent
show.
was
Huge.
massive. I mean, it was the show. I'm up for the replacement cast of the Broadway show of Rent, and I'm on the final callback. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna replace Anthony Rapp. And by the way, Adam Pascal, who's the lead of that show, is now a friend of mine. We've had this discussion. But I'm up for the replacement cast. It's me and another guy. I'm into the final callback. I'm going, oh my God, like Rent? This is crazy. I wasn't even thinking of going into musical theater. I took a stab at it because I have a rock voice, and I was like, let me give it a shot. Okay. I'm in the final callback. I go in second. I hear the guy before me. He looks the part. He looks like Anthony Rapp, and we're auditioning for that role. He looks it. He's total Brooklyn bohemian looking guy. I look like me. Right? Some European Italian dude who should be wearing some fancy Ferragamo shoes. That's not me, right? That's not the part. Anyway, I listened to him in the room. He is unreal, phenomenal, perfect. I'm listening to the audition. I go in next. Humor. Here's where the humor comes in. I go to Bernie Telsey, who's the lead casting director, and everybody knows him in the business. I go, all right. I'm not getting this role, right? He's like, probably not. I go, all right, this is great. He goes, but you want to do the audition? I go, sure. I go, but that's your guy. I mean, come on, that's crazy. He looks perfect for that. I don't get it. Okay. A week later, I'm in a final callback for a play called The Judas Kiss on Broadway, opposite Liam Neeson.
Whew.
I'm down to final callback. The role says Italian, dark-haired Sicilian, speaks the language, shoreman, skinny. I'm going, oh my God.
Written for me.
Done. I'm going to be on Broadway with Liam Neeson. My counter to me on the callback is short, stout, curly-haired white dude. And I'm going, no chance.
Got this.
Guy has
karma,
no
baby. Karma.
chance.
Got this.
All right. I go in.
My time.
He gets the role. I am floored.
Yeah.
Now I have an in. My entertainment law firm handled things for J. Michael Bloom. No longer available, but J. Michael Bloom represented Liam Neeson. And guess who else they represented? This guy. So they packaged this guy, and not to whatever, but it lasted 2 weeks in previews. It never opened. Okay. So that was a failure. I call those.
That was like sounds like a godsend.
Yes. I call. So so this is an interesting little phrase if you want to use it. I call them successful failures. Yeah. I believe in successful failures.
Yeah.
So that's gone, and now I'm depressed. Frank at that time, his ego is crushed. He's depressed. He's quitting. Frank is quitting the business at 25 because that's right. So I'm like, that's it. My agent calls me up a few days later and goes, I got you an audition for this show called Blue Man Group. I said, what's that? She goes, it's a show. It's been running for, 7 years, whatever.
In the East Village.
In the East Village. I go, okay. I go, what's it about? She goes, those posters with the blue? I go, the blue thing? The performance art piece? I go, come on. Are you kidding me? She goes, just do it. Yeah. I said, okay. I go in. The first thing is just an acting audition. I was like, yeah, well, duh. What do you mean? Well, I go in, and I know now he's a buddy of mine, but Randall James, one of the performer directors, I do my audition. It's 2 hours of basic Meisner exercises. Nobody's saying a word. We're not speaking.
Yeah.
The audition was, okay, you're entering a room. It's very improv. You're entering a room. There is a bomb somewhere you have to defuse. Okay. You're not speaking. It's just you. You have to show us with your eyes the following. You're looking for the bomb. You think you know where the bomb is. You're close. You hear the bomb ticking. It's one of these things. And you've got to do it all with your eyes. And you can't move your arms. I'm like, what? What is going on? Anyway, I give into it. Physical, whatever. and I'm just telling you now because I got the show, I can say this without sounding. The guy goes, Randall says to me, he goes, wow. He goes, between us, he's like, that's one of the best acting auditions we've ever had. I go, what are you talking about?
Like, it's all in the eyes, baby.
I did nothing. Okay. He goes, man, you're like, as an actor, you're in. He goes, can you drum? I go, I had no idea there was drumming. I don't know the show. He goes, oh, you've never seen the show? I go, no. He goes, well, can you drum? I go, no. I said, I'm a musician. I said, I play 5 instruments. I said, drum's not one of them. I said, I can hand drum. He goes, yeah, no, this is with sticks. I go, no, I can't drum. He goes, but I said, I'm musical. And so he shows me a couple of things. I said, I think I could probably do that. He goes, I go, why don't you give me tickets? Give me tickets. Let me see the show. Let me see what it's like. Well, this is where the fast forward happens. I get the tickets. I go see the show that night. I am blown away.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is a Kiss concert meets the Marx Brothers meets, it's like me.
Yeah.
It's comedy and music. I'm going, oh my gosh. So I go back to him. I say, give me a month. I'm going to go back to my apartment. Give me a month. Give me the rudiments. Can you write the rudiments down? I read the charts. I can do this. I go tell my day job, I'm quitting. I go tell my agent, don't send me out for anything else. This is the one. I'm getting this show. Go back to my apartment for about 3 weeks. I took sticks on 2 pillows, and I just drummed until the fingers bled. I think there's what is that?
Whiplash.
Yeah.
Whiplash, yeah.
Whiplash.
Yeah. Till the fingers bled. I teach myself the rudiments.
Miles Teller in there with you, cheering you on. It's great.
Exactly. I go back. Well, you know what they did? They told me the whole show is based on a steady 16th note roll. I was like, oh, okay. So it's like tribal. Cool. Got it. All right. I can do that. He goes, if you can do that in time and you can do that with other people, you can do the show. I was like, done. I understand that. Musically, got it. Go in after 3 weeks, got the drumming down, got the show.
And your
Life
neighbors were so happy.
Oh my gosh. Well, I was on pillows. That's why I did it on pillows. But I go in and I go, oh my God. So there's your thought process changes, because when I moved to New York, my only thought was I just want to be a full-time actor. If it takes till I'm 40, great. Well, now I'm 25 and I'm now quitting day jobs, having a full-time gig. I'm a full-time actor.
Mm-hmm.
The amazing thing that happens, and I call it, and this is my life now, is I get the gig. I'm in the gig. It's life-changing, unbelievable. And my first question to myself when I was alone with my own thoughts in my apartment was, what now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now what?
Now what?
Your goal, your entire life goal, your career goal is met. Now what? And so that led to me being the first blue man that ever left the show in 10 years.
Yeah.
Of my own accord. Didn't get fired.
Yeah.
3 years in, I went, now what? I can't do this the rest of my life. And so getting to your point, Travis, I went to the goodbye shows in New York and Boston, and friends of mine have been in the show 28 years.
Oof. Wow.
28 years. And I feel like now they're lost because they're only a blue man. And it sounds amazing,
identity, right?
but they don't have any other experience.
Yeah.
So now they're out into the field and they're 50 plus. I'm 53. So you're going, okay, what's my skill set as an actor? I'm a blue man.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it formulated, it taught me high success and the fact that it's fleeting. It is what it is, right? You get it and you're like, okay, I've made it, but what does that mean now? I can't sustain. My mind would not allow me to stay in that and just be that. So 3 years later.
It's funny. It's cool. It's interesting you bring that up because, you brought up Tiger Woods earlier and I remember.
Daddy Scheffler.
Huh?
Scheffler in the news recently. Is that what you were referring to?
No, I was talking about Tiger Woods.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
And I'm interested in what Scheffler said, but Frank, you talked about Tiger Woods and like forgetting the last shot. There was an interview with him right after he won his first Masters. And they're like, hey man, have you arrived? Are you here? And he goes, you're never there. You're never there. And in the moment that you think you're there, you might as well quit because you're not going to have that passion. And I think that's exactly what you're talking about here, Frank, is that one of those things that for you is a healthy dose of not being sated, of not being satisfied, of not feeling full ever. Yeah. It's like the 100, whatever, the How to Live 100 Years, right, on Netflix.
Right.
And They talk about getting to the 80% fullness. And it feels like that's kind of how you've lived your life. It's like, I'm going to get to 80% full. I'm going to fill that. That's going to be awesome. I'm going to look. And then, curiosity. Let's go over here. Let's see what's going on. This is interesting. Oh, let's be fully present and let's go. Do I have that right, Travis? Is that who this guy is that we're talking to?
I think you have that exactly right. And it's a constant openness and a constant curiosity to what else is interesting. And before you answer that, Frank, it was just because as you're describing sort of that feeling and like what now, it's, Scotty Scheffler, who just won the British Open this week, leading up to the event, he did a press conference or he did this interview, and it made all the national news because he says in the interview, he says, golf isn't fulfilling to me. He's like, this life isn't my life as a golfer is not fulfilling. He's like, he goes, you work and you work and you work and you work. And he goes, you win a major championship. And he goes, it feels good for a few minutes. And then people are asking you, when are you going to win the next tournament?
Yeah. And
so he's going on, and here's this guy, like he's the best in the world, right? And he's basically saying, I don't do this it can't be my fulfillment. It has to be the joy that I find. And he kind of says, it's kind of crazy. He goes, this is stupid. That I care so much about this. But the fulfillment doesn't come from the winning. It comes from the commitment and the dedication to just being in it and what he can learn as a result of it. But it's not about finally achieving a level of success that is going to fulfill an empty soul, right? And Frank, I feel like that's what you're kind of experiencing or learning.
I'll give you a phrase, and I don't want not to sound cavalier, but this is kind of my mindset, right? And it's happened really mostly in the last 10 years, I think. And it's easier to think this way now because I've been able to have a few successes. But it's, so what? No. Now what? Mm-hmm. And that's really what it is for me. It's like when people, do you know how many times I have these conversations where it's like, oh my gosh, you got to work with Jeremy Renner. And I'm kind of, and I don't do it on purpose. I'm just like, yeah, man, that was really great. And it was like, yeah, but it was 2 years ago. So like, so what? Yeah, I did. It's just another, I really do believe that its accomplishments are what? What are they exactly? What are they supposed to bring you? Yes, they feed us, right? Like it's a job. I have to make money in my chosen field. And so that's good. But ultimately, if that's it, that's why people were jumping out of buildings when the stock market crashed. Like if that's all you're defined by, well, then by all intents and purposes, if I don't get a job, I'm a horrible person. I'm terrible at what I do. I'm a loser. But I can't be that way because that would be every other day for me. So,
hey, it sounds like too, Frank, that the, and this is like, I kind of like, I was thinking like as we were doing this and we're talking about, all those people maybe who are listening to this, who are in that world where they're trying to get jobs and they're trying to get work and they and that's the accomplishment, right? The accomplishment is signing that contract, is getting on Broadway, is doing those things. But that doesn't sound like why you do this. It doesn't sound like the accomplishment matters. What matters is the passion, the love, the joy of actually performing. And I think that that's something maybe that people can take away from this. And it goes back to what you said earlier about, hey, I got to be in the here and now. I got to be right here, right now. And when I am there, I can be free and I can be myself and I can be passionate and I can not give a shit if I look like an idiot. I'm just going to go for it. And you just bring that wholeness to it. And I mean, that's what's jumping off the screen to me. There's no doubt why you're successful, because you don't hold back. You're not like dipping your toe in the water. You're jumping in full cannonball. Let's splash the crowd. Let's freaking go.
Yeah. I'm lucky in the sense that I look at it back when I was in my teens, right? I wasn't doing any of the person I am now is the person I was then, just so you know. Like I've always been that guy, and I've always in the same things. I was a musician, I was a performer, I was an actor, and I was a class clown, so comedy was always a part of it. But I wasn't doing it for any reason back then other than just that's just who I am. I wasn't doing it to say I'm going to make money. I never, ever thought this was going to be the career. I was in kinesiology in my last year. I wanted to go into kinesiology and be a sports doctor. And so when the scholarships came up, I was like, oh, I didn't think I could even play sports in college. Okay, that's something. And that kind of led me to going, all right, maybe I'll go that route. And then all of a sudden when that one came up, so I've never done it because you can't. I don't think you can in this business specifically. I didn't choose it. It chose me. I've been that guy forever. So I didn't go, let me go be famous. Let me go into this because I was a storyteller. I wrote my first play in 7th grade. It's crazy to think about. I convinced my English teacher to let me write a play instead of deliver a paper. So I wrote a play about my class, and that's how it started. And she let me, which is a teacher that was obviously smart, knew what I needed to succeed. And so you take that into adulthood, and now I'm pursuing it with a purpose, right? Like I need to afford my home and my car, my life, my kids, and my wife, whatever. But I'm really still just doing it because I really do like it.
Yeah.
And whether I'm getting paid or not, I'm still doing it. So it just becomes who you are, I think. And so if it chooses you, you can't have no really. It becomes an extension of you, I think, right? And so that's why I think I leave expectations at the door, because whether I'm successful or not, I'm still going to do it. So I might as well make some money at it.
Right.
And so, I'm still going to I'm still going to pull up my guitar or my piano, or I'm still going to try to, tell jokes, or I might as well do it for a living. Let's try. And so here we are 35 years later, knocking on wood, going, okay. And slowly but surely maturing a little bit and getting rid of the expectation and the anger and the fear and the discouragement and the negativity. And once you get rid of that, oh my God, it's a joy. It's a joy at that point, right? Like you're creating there's no fear or negativity in it. You're creating out of joy. Right. You're creating out of positivity. And then it's like, wow, everything blows open for you. And like, wow, I don't really do anything I hate. And I love my wife and I love my kid. And all of a sudden I'm like, I might be a happy person. Yeah. That's crazy. Like that's a crazy thing to think about.
You might have backed into happiness.
Yeah. Like what?
Backing into happiness.
Backing into happiness.
How'd that happen? Right.
So before we wrap things up, so Frank, we like to end this with, since this is Success Leaves Clues, Josh and I are going to share some clues of what we learned from your success. So Josh, before we go to you, I'll give you a second to think. One last question.
No, I got them written down. I'm good.
Okay. One last question for Frank. It's kind of a two-parter, which is what is your greatest professional success? And 2, why is it performing with Jesse and myself in the Jove Improv?
Oh, good point. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it's part of what you just know. I'll tell you, it's part of what you just, because I just had a very interesting experience this past weekend. We did this 2-man show down in Florida at this corporate gig, and it was at the end of a crazy run for me. I was in Florida for one show, then I flew to Toronto to do the Netflix, then I went to LA to do an interview at San Bernardino for my doc, and I came back, and then I got the other show. So I'm back in Toronto, and now I'm back in Florida doing this corporate gig. And at the end of that whole run, I was like, oh, I'm doing a corporate gig, yada, yada. You start to think like I was just on, and your ego starts to play.
You're like, yeah.
And I got on that stage, and I was by the end of the show, I got to tell you, I was so grateful. I'm like, our brand of comedy, we had a 55 plus audience. Okay.
Yeah.
Who, I mean, the way that goes. And it could be but I went, this brand of comedy, we did a similar show to what we had just done a month ago in my old theater, in our theater there. And I went, this appeals to such a broad spectrum. What I'm doing is getting across to 85-year-old people as it is to 25-year-old. And I thought that's amazing. Yeah. And it didn't get lost on me that I'm like, wow. So the answer to your first question before you jokingly mentioned the Jove is, what my greatest accomplishment is? It's longevity.
Yeah.
It's not Blue Man or Jeremy Renner or Donnie Wahlberg or Tom Cruise or my school.
A little bit of Donnie.
My 15 years that I owned a school and my own theater, which is a big deal. Or Travis or Jess. It's holy crap. If you had told 19-year-old Frank that he'd still be doing this 35 years later at a level where that's all he does,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd have believed you. And to the point where I've been able to work at a fairly high level in every one of the things that I do, like producing and directing and writing and hosting and acting, where I can go, oh, wow, I've had some pretty good, that's just being grateful, but it's the longevity of it for me. Cause I have a lot of friends that, are now real estate agents and insurance agents and a lot more than I can even think. Some of them blue men, friends that haven't worked in 10 years, friends that quit the business and started another business. Nothing wrong with that, but that to me it's not lost on me that I'm sitting here talking to you and I'm getting interviewed about my quote unquote success in my business 35 years later is the prize.
Very LeBron James of you, longevity.
Frank, my word for the year, my word for myself for the year is evolve, right? And your life and your career it's just a constant evolution, all in the creative arts, but it's a constant evolution of just, following that passion and following wherever sort of the next opportunity takes you. And that's a huge testament. So, all right, we can keep going. I know we can keep going.
We could probably be on this podcast for 17 hours with you.
And so because we only got a couple of stories and we can keep going. But all right, Josh, I know you have your clues written down. I've got a few clues written down. Josh, success leaves clues. What clues did Frank leave for you?
Anger and fear are wasted emotions. I love that. It's just and I love the call out that it's kind of like those are like the easiest thing to do. They're like the lowest bar of emotion, right? And what that shores up is that the higher bars of emotion, the level, if you level them up, it's joy, enthusiasm, passion, and then presence, right? And so that was huge. And then I loved find the fun in failure, be here now, and the last one, which I always said they should teach a course of this in sports psychology, of don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
You gotta learn to laugh at yourself. If you can't laugh at yourself, everybody else is going to, just so you know.
Yeah.
So you better start figuring it out. I love that.
I love it. All right.
What do you got, Double T?
I mean, the first thing that popped off to me was your teacher who had the wisdom to shift your focus going into that audition, knowing, right, like not to think about the outcome, just use it as an opportunity. When do we perform at our best? When we're actually not focused on the outcome, we're focused on just fully committing to what we're doing. That was genius. I love your openness to angel messages, divine experiences. And that just takes basically us looking at any opportunity and being open to, wow, what am I actually getting out of this cab ride right now? Right. And
what am I getting out of this mailroom right now?
Yes, exactly. There's value in this. Am I finding the value in it? Your level of hard work and commitment, I think anyone listening to this podcast will be able to see that this is a dude that committed and was willing to put the work in. And obviously we know in our industries, that's got to be your starting point. And I've got to be willing to do the work and to be open to any opportunity, and your versatility, your willingness to be versatile. Successful failures, boom, love that. So what? Now what? So what? Now what? And filled in all this is obviously, if we were to put a Venn diagram around the different people, right? Again, what's one of those? You got to have courage, man. You got to have courage to commit, to leave your family at 18, 19, and to say, whether I make it or not, I'm going for it. Or DJ driving across the country to sleep on a frat couch in LA, I'm going for it. Or we had Holly Stofa on here, who is the CIA, and like young girl from a small town who's now in the CIA, like courage. And Frank,
courage,
like
going for it, right?
Courage, man. Gotta have that courage.
Well, that's it, right? But I think if you get rid of the fear, if fear is not an option, then courage becomes easy, right? Because what's the other side of that? If you say there's nothing to be fearful about, I don't know what's going to happen. So what am I afraid of, right? And then you can react as things come. So I guess courage. I never mentioned it, but I suppose so. I suppose that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, Frank, where anyone wants to follow up with you or find you, where do you want them to find you? Not where can they find you? Where do you want them to find you?
Well, hopefully, there. It's stuff you'll see me all across your streaming platforms and your things. But I don't do much. I try to do. I've never been. I'm 53, so socials for us was not like, oh, let me build that following. My agents have been telling me since 2010, I think, to build it. I've never done it, but yeah, I'm on socials as the Frank Licari. My website's, franklicari.com, quite frankly, entertainment.com. But other than that, man, I'm just, you can turn on PBS. You might see me, CBS, Netflix. I don't know, wherever. Just, you don't have to follow me. Just, just when you see me, go, hey, that's that dude. I like what he's doing there. I don't.
And if you do go missing once the Amazon documentary comes out, where would you like Josh and I to look for you?
Yeah, probably. Well, I don't know. With Bezos
Florida
money,
swamps,
who knows?
man. Florida swamps. He's going in.
I don't know, man. Bezos has.
Did I hit a log? Nope, that's Frank.
He's got a vast network. I don't know. I could be anywhere. He could ship me anywhere. So in one day, I could be in Bora.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens.
It's beautiful this time of year.
Oh yeah.
Well, brother, hey man, thanks so much for the time. I'm really, really grateful you took the time, willing to do this and share some of your love and share some of your success and secrets.
We gotta have him back. We gotta have him back sooner or later, man. We gotta get you back on this, Frank, because we never even heard about Tom Cruise and Donnie Wahlberg and the rest. So we gotta dive into that too. That's a whole nother. That's the second part.
Awesome. Right. And for those of you listening in, thanks for listening in to the Success Leaves Clues series here on the podcast. Josh, take us out the way we can.
Yeah, of course, you can follow us at Limitless Minds at limitlessminds.com, or just look for us on the socials, the beautiful Instagram at Limitless Minds, and then obviously LinkedIn. You can find us there as well. And just remember and never forget, you don't have to be sick to get better.
There we go. Next. Boom.